Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking all about stance. Alright, I had some questions if I can just start from square one, so that's what I'm going to do today. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see that from back far enough, okay, but we're going to start with the feet and kind of work our way up. So when we're planting our feet, we want to make sure we're about shoulder width. I think that's pretty common. Reason being, alright, if you're too far apart, that opens you up to low shots between the legs. Also, when we're having to move really quickly around the crease, a lot of times what we're doing is we're already having to bring that foot in. Okay, so again, if we're just trying to save ourselves time as we're moving, so if we're a little bit closer in together, that allows us to move faster as we're moving around the crease. Now, if we're too close together in our stance, obviously that lessens your ability to be able to push off and also makes us more unbalanced in that position. So when we start, we want our feet about shoulder width. Also, it's important to make sure our feet are facing forward. I see a lot of goalies, sometimes they get their feet, again, I don't know if you can see the camera, but our feet end up kind of angled out this way or in. Okay, we want to make sure our feet are facing straight forward so that when we step, okay, our feet are coming forward. And if they're angled, a lot of times I see girls stepping more laterally that way. So we got our feet forward, our knees, all you need is a slight bend, okay? I see a lot of girls, sometimes they try to sink too far down, and all that does is that shortening you, okay, and making you smaller, especially for the younger ones. You know, we're short. I'm only 5'4" myself, so I have to use all the height that I have. So all I need is a slight bend, and I'll show you from the side. It's just a little slight bend when I'm in my stance here, okay? Now, a lot of times too, I get asked about, you know, where should my body weight be when I'm in my stance, and you want it, obviously, you know, you hear a lot on the balls of your feet, and you know, what does that really look like? A lot of girls get confused. They think they should be on their toes, which ends up, again, I don't know if you can see, but it ends up kind of coming up here on the heels. So what you want to envision, you can tell the little ones this is a pretty good way to get them set up into it, is if they have their feet on the ground, okay, they keep their shoes on the ground, but all they're doing is shifting their weight forward. All right, so your shoes should stay on the ground, all right, but that weight is just in the front part of your foot, okay? That alleviates that need for the heels to come off the ground. A lot of times keeps them down, but still reiterates that they should be forward, okay? Because we want to make sure that we're forward and always ready to make a save if we have to. So we got our knees bent, feet are forward, weight is forward, all set to go. All right, now we get to the upper part of the body. Okay, again, this is where I see a lot of mistakes happening. Number one, okay, when I say forward, a lot of times what I see is this. Okay, the shoulders come forward and the back hunches over. Okay, we don't want that when we're in cage. We want to keep a nice straight back. Okay, this is where you got to engage your core. Yeah, you're going to hear it probably for the rest of your life, goalies that are watching this. You have to use your core in every single thing that you do. It's the most important thing, especially playing goalie. So we engage our core, keep our back straight. That's going to save us a lot of back pain later on. So we got our back straight, shoulders are back and down. All right, so we got that. Our hand placement on our stick. So your top hand, your dominant hand, you always want that to be on the top. Okay, where exactly is really personal preference. I've heard a lot and seen a lot of different things. Some goalies, and I'll stand a little bit closer so you can see, but some goalies, you know, like to keep it here. Some, I really prefer to put my thumb on the back of my stick like this. Just, I feel like it gives me a lot of control. Some, you know, like to do this kind of interesting angle thing when they hold their stick. Again, that's really all personal preference, and that just is like minute details. Now, the bottom hand, okay, you want to make sure putting tape. Also, you can see on here, I don't have a ton, I just have 2 strips on here, but that just lets me know where my hand should be. And I use this stick in college, so even in college, I'm still keeping it there just so I know as a reminder. So especially for the beginners, putting tape where your hand should go for positioning in the cage, and then also when clearing is going to be important and really helpful. So where should it go? There's 2 ways of finding this out, where your bottom hand should go. One is you simply having your hand at the top, put your elbow down, your hand goes right below that. Other way is if you're a righty, you put your right hand down right next to your right hip, and your left hand goes on the other side of your other hip. All right, so if you're a lefty, other way, put it down to your left hip, right hand goes on the right side of your right hip. All right, and that's about the width you want your hands. Again, we don't want them too close, that limits our reach, okay? Then also we don't want them too far for the same purpose there. A lot of times you'll see goalies and coaches, you might want to watch out for this, okay? As they're going for a save, all right, they slide this bottom hand down, which really limits their reach instead of being able to keep our both hands on the stick. All right, so just watch out for that. I'll go over actually how to save the ball in a later video. So now that we have our hands, we got our feet, we're forward. Okay, where does our stick go? This is another one where I see a lot of goalies kind of doing some inefficient things with their stick. So, for instance, a lot of times you probably see better this way. When goalies get in their ready position, okay, they start with their stick back here, okay, which makes sense in theory because they want to come forward and be able to keep the ball in their stick, okay? But a lot of times, especially when you're going to that offside, what you have to do is bring your stick forward and then explode, okay? So as goalies, we always want to act as fast as we can and use the most efficient movement in the most efficient way. So when we're going to make that save, all right, you just want your stick straight up and down in front of you so that if I have to make an off-stick side high save or off-stick side mid, it's really easy for me to just come straight forward with my hands instead of having to bring them forward and then out, okay? So stick head positioning, okay, this might vary a little bit, again, depending on the height of your goalie. So I like to make sure that my head is, when I work with goalies, I make sure their head is right on top of the crossbar, or right below it, sorry. And then once it's right below it, I try to give them some sort of visual cue with their thumb. So whether it's their thumb should be at their mouth level, their nose, or their eyes, again, that gives them a little bit of a visual to know that, okay, this is where my hand should be. And that should help you coaches out. So when we're in our stance, now we got our feet are forward, knees are slightly bent, bending at the hips, not at the back, shoulders are straight up and down, okay, our arms are in front, okay, arms, I see a lot of differences too. Sometimes girls get shrunk in here, sometimes they get the chicken wing, okay, really, again, the chicken wing here, sometimes they can get in the way, but again, that really is a preference thing. I think that, you know, just the most comfortable is just letting your arms hang because, you know, you can tell your goalies this, and goalies, you're going to be in this position for a really long time, so you're going to want to be as comfortable as possible. So I just kind of let my arms hang down. I put my stick to the right of my head so that I can see. And again, if you're a lefty, it's going to be just to the left of your head. If there was a box right next to your head over here, or on this side over here, all right, that's where you're going to want that stick to be, okay? So we got our arms nice and relaxed, our stick up, and this is what your stance should look like. And I'll show you guys from the side just so you can see a side profile. Okay, so I have my feet slightly bent, arms are out, shoulders back and down. Okay, my shoulders are nice and down. Notice too, my shoulders don't come up here. They're back and down, nice, relaxed. I can sit in this position forever, okay? All right, let me know, comment, message me if you have any questions on the stance. Next, in the video series, I'll go over how you actually make a save in each position. So, hope you enjoy, and have a good one, guys.